Do you know that many of us what buy from the market as sandalwood for the worship of God is not really the sandalwood? Then what is that? Those are not sandalwood, but those are the trees grown nearby the sandalwood. But because of the nearness to the sandalwood, they become the such characteristics of the sweet smell, very attractive. You can see the magic that surrounding that tree which doesn't have the quality of a sandalwood by means of its genes or the DNAs, even then can be like that sweet smelling sandalwood. Similarly, it happens to us. If we surround ourselves with the good people, there is no time to thinking bad thing. And we are bound to become good, better, and up to best my up to my limit. That is the essence and that is the reality in this world. And that's why you observed that our career, our prospect, that depends on the environment where we have grown up. And the person who are we talking everyday life. And that is the reason. It is also said a man is known by the friends. If the friends are well, in such case we can predict that particular man or the woman is good because he doesn't have the time or the mentality of thinking anything bad. This is the magic of surrounding yourself with the good people. The reverse can happen. The persons who are surrounded with the bad people become the criminal. In this way, world goes. In many of the prisons of our country, the project actually fails because what happens in the prisons? We are taking all the criminals at the same cell, and even a good person who is wrongly convicted in the crime, if he put in the prison, becomes really criminal. So let's avoid this kind of the tendency. Let's avoid this kind of the probability or possibility wherever it is possible. And that's why we must try ourselves to be in contact with the good people, to think good, to be guided in the good way, to be guided in the right way. And that is the life. We can get maximum benefit out of it. We can see that our productivity is increased in a multiple way in such conditions. Now, what's the way out? Because you cannot select your environment where you have born. Even if you are born in a crowded area, the full of bad people, virtually try to be contact with the good people. I can correlate in my life. I was born and brought up in the rural West Bengal in the coal belt. None of the students at that coal belt area have any ambition to do something in the life. And that's why I was also becoming like that. I used to participate in the all kinds of the country games apart from the conventional game football, cricket, volleyball, hockey, and the badminton. I'm not claiming myself that I was a good player, but even then, I squandered my valuable time in those activities. And this continued until I came into contact with some sons of the professors of the nearby town, Raniganj. And that was the turning point in my life. When I saw them, their personality, their way of answering the questions of sirs was quite interesting and attracting. I also tried to emulate them. They were in the much higher standard than me. But even then, I determined myself that I am not going to give up, and I improved bit by bit in a step process. And ultimately, when I reached in the class 8, 9, 10, I become master of the subject which I feared more. In class 7, then mathematics becomes the most interesting subject in my life. And that was only because of the persons of the students who I hang out in the school. I tried to extract the lot from them. Their handwriting, their sentence constructions, and their way of writing any passage, paragraph, essays really impressed me. And I also tried to make it own instead of learn by heart. So from my life, I can correlate that our life, our career depends on the persons who are in hanging out. And that's why the American writers and the motivators once spoken that you are average of the 5 people who you are hanging out. The same thing is applicable for everyone. Like the ordinary tree becoming the characteristics of the sandalwood of the sweet smell, you can also convert yourself in a very good natured persons with a lot of talent. And you know, the more you nurture your talent, the more you can glow shining in this actual life. It is not the way of lineage from our birth, from our family. It is your own effort that which can catapult yourself in the high altitude in all respect of the life. So to conclude that we must be engaged, we must be in touch with some good natured persons so that we can also become our best. Question to you, my dear friend, what you are going to do in your future? What you are going to do in your present so that you can make your future brighter? Ball is now at your court. Thank you.